Today on Brilliance Business TV, we have Angelica Robles. Angelica has a passion for helping others and empowering those around her with her work in performance coaching. Stay tuned. Welcome to Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. We have another wonderful guest today, Angelica Robles. Angelica is a performance coach, and to get the results that we want in life, we need to work at our best and highest performance. So I'm really looking forward to a conversation with Angelica today. I'm Mark Stephen Pooler, your host. We are streaming live on MSPNewsGlobal.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and we're also streaming through the E360 TV network under Fresh Takes, going out to Apple TV, Fire TV, Android, Roku, and many more. And we're also on Business Innovators Radio Network. I just want to make an official shout out to our show sponsors, Dreamweaver Artist Ranch. Let's bring in our incredible guest, Angelica Robles. Hey, Angelica, welcome to Brilliance Business.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Now, I know you have an interesting story, and normally when people do performance coaching, I'm guessing you have had your own obstacles to overcome, which has led you then to serve and help so many, Angelica. So I would like to start with a little bit of your story and background that has led you to the work that you're doing today.
Definitely. So I was born and raised in Chicago. I was born in the west side of Chicago, called Cicero, which is a very underprivileged Hispanic community. I went to a rough high school. We had gang violence. We had just lots of pregnancy and just lots of kids that really weren't being watched because our parents were just working all day long. And so in despite of that, I was dating somebody when I was 15, and his sister was murdered, dismembered, and decapitated. It was one of the most heinous crimes in Chicago history. And so being 15 years old, that's very difficult to process. And so as children or adolescents, we grow up with just a lot of anger and really unfinished business that we just don't really know how to process in our minds. And so that led me to want to work for the government and really find out why people do the things that they do, which all comes down to psychology.
Wow, must have been really traumatic as a child to have witnessed those kind of events. And what an awful crime as well, Angelica. That is just really the worst of the worst. I can imagine that was quite traumatic for the family as well. So what kind of work did you do with the government?
So for 16 years, I did an array of things. I started as an undercover agent. I did that for a while. I started with corporate fraud. So I used to do the old school surveillance. A lot of people don't really know what old school surveillance is because the new undercover work now is all done through our phones. We live in an era where we share everything. We share our locations. We share what we're eating, what we're wearing, what we're doing. So when I was doing undercover work, the iPhone had not came out yet, and we didn't have smartphones. So a lot of my undercover work was done the old school way, where you're in the car with the camera, following, hiding in the bushes. And so I started with that. And then after that, I kind of got into interrogations and really just investigations. So more of the criminal profiling type stuff. So my background is in forensic psychology.
That's really interesting. I can imagine that kind of work really gets the adrenaline going and there's a buzz to it. Am I correct in thinking that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, never a dull moment. And in my book, Through These Brown Eyes, I do express and I do talk about what it's like and the feeling that you get by doing something like that. And really, it is an adrenaline rush because you can get caught. So
I will talk more about your book shortly. So today you're doing performance coaching. What led you into that side of your career?
So after working for the government for what I would say 16 years, I started my own company. I became a very successful CEO. But what really stood out for me was resilience, that we always go through different traumas in our lives, and some of us deal with it differently. Some of us pretty much just, we have it there, but we never really deal with it. And so
Yes.
for me, and me offering my performance coaching has been really to deal with the things that we have really dug up, that we kind of left there. And so I wanted to really release people of those things that are hindering their performance and really hindering their growth. Because I saw it with me. Whenever I was able to forgive and really give up everything that I was holding on to, anger and pain, I really was able to just thrive and grow.
What kind of clients do you work with, and what problems do they normally come to you with? And then what kind of results can be expected with performance coaching, Angelica?
So with performance coaching is really up to the client. So a lot of people come to me for fitness. I was able to lose 60 pounds by myself. I've posted
Congratulations.
I've posted some pictures and people can't believe it. So definitely fitness and wellness, and definitely just business, relationships. It's really an array of things, whether it's an executive or whether it's a stay-home mom that just needs accountability and somebody to really listen. It's really an array of people.
Really interesting, actually. I'll tell you a little bit about myself, Angelica. I'm 40 years old now. I had never used a gym my whole life, only once years ago, and I went once and I cancelled the subscription. A year ago, 39, I decided I've never had a nice stomach, and I thought it's never too late. So, though I don't go to the gym, I hired a personal trainer and I do everything online from home. So, I've been working out at home for 4 times a week, but I'll definitely do 2 if I can't get in the 4 workouts. And I train that amount of time. I've completely changed my nutrition. So I eat lean meats, whole grains, nuts, fruits, seeds. I eat fruit and veg with every meal, and I am allowed treats occasionally as long as I'm sticking to my meal plan 80% of the time. So over the last year, I have dropped almost a stone in weight, but weight doesn't have a lot to do with it. It's how you actually look as well, because muscle does weigh heavier than fat. For the first time ever, I'm getting like the tone in my stomach, not so much at the bottom. There's still a bit of fat I need to lose there, but I'm really starting to get muscle now and really tone up a firm butt, firm chest. My stomach's going. But I am noticing you do perform better when you're working out, and I never realized how you feel when you work out. It does get the endorphins going. You do feel better. I seem to get up earlier. So, and I was 39, which is quite late to decide to start working out. I'm already on phase 5, so I'm really proud of that achievement. So my tip out there, it's never too late. How important is fitness and exercise so that you can achieve success in other areas of your life, Angelica?
So first, congratulations for taking that big step.
It's
I
a
always
commitment.
tell, yes, it's amazing. I always tell people it starts with your mindset. Because if you
Yes.
want to do something, you believe that you want to do something, and then you take action into doing something. And you always need a plan. Always having a plan definitely helps. But really being accountable to yourself is what starts the ball rolling. So in fitness, I always tell people it's 80% diet, 10% exercise, and obviously 10% genetics, because we're all built differently and we all
Yeah.
have different traits. But it comes down to consistency. Anytime that you are wanting to make a difference and you are going to commit yourself to it, you have to stick to it. It's a consistent work. And so, the New Year's, or it happened and everybody started having their New Year's resolutions, and it's almost February. So usually by February 1st, you'll know who has dropped off and who hasn't. So really, to get the results that you want, what you have to really commit to it, and you have to stick to the plan. And like you said, it's the consistency that gets the results.
And it's not about seeing a big mountain in front of you. It's just doing what you're meant to do day by day and just doing little steps. But I felt really proud, Angelica, because I did a workout on Christmas Eve. I had a couple of days off, but New Year's Day, I got a workout in as well. So when all of the people are like setting these big New Year's resolutions, I just felt, well, I'm just maintaining what I've been doing for the last 8 or 9 months. So I didn't feel I'd got set a big goal and achieve it as a New Year's resolution, because I was just carrying on and just maintaining. So if you can just do those little steps day by day, those results do come, but nothing happens overnight. Now, we will come back to performance coaching shortly, and I would like a few tips from you. But let's just talk a little bit about your book, Through These Brown Eyes. Congratulations on it becoming an international #1 bestseller. What motivated you to write the book?
So thank you so much for that. I have been on a podcast with Mark Wilkinson. He is in London, and he also has a podcast and interviews very interesting people all around the world. And at the time where I was being interviewed by him, he has just launched his book, Life Remixed. And
I have met Mark, actually.
yes, and he's amazing. He's having an event coming up at the end of February. And so he's also a performance coach. And just listening to his story and listening to his passion, I was literally sitting there and I was just inspired. And he said, "You should write a book." And I said, "You know what? I'm going to write it." And so he connected me with Hasmark International Publishing. And
Love
then next thing
Judy.
you know, 3 weeks later, the book was finished.
Amazing. And tell us a little bit of what the book is about. Who is it for?
So the book is really about my life as a child, growing up as an adolescent, starting to work for the government, and really all the traumas and turbulences that I went through. And the book really is for anybody who's trying to surpass any trauma and really trying to get into the other side of resiliency. And for me, I felt that I was kind of called to action to share my story. There's a lot of traumatic events in the book. It's a very heavy emotional book. And my biggest motivation for sharing a lot of the things that I have been through have been to really show people that even though you go through trauma, you could come out the other side and still live a life of fulfillment and love and acceptance for yourself, and not let your past hinder you. Because if we carry our past into our present, it then becomes our future. And then we really don't have any growth because we're carrying all this trauma around with us. So it's really for everybody that has been through trauma and has not been able to deal with it.
And I think we have all been through some kind of trauma, and a lot of people don't know how those past traumas, even from your childhood, can really hold you back from moving forwards in business and in life. And everyone in the personal development space have had to work through some of those traumas to get where they are today and to make progress. I really congratulate you, Angelica, on sharing your vulnerabilities to serve the world. I really admire that you're putting your heart on your sleeve, sharing your vulnerabilities. I would encourage everyone to go and get a copy of Through These Brown Eyes. Angelica, we just need to go to a commercial break. Please stay where you are. Thank you everyone for joining us for part 1 of Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. We're in conversation with Angelica Robles, and it's all about performance. Stay tuned.
Hello everybody, Cyberchuck 2.0 here. I'm so excited to be able to share my vision of Dreamweaver's Artist Ranch. They say you can't choose your family. Not only am I saying you can choose your family, you get to thrive with your family here at Dreamweaver's Artist Ranch. It's a place for like-minded individuals to come together to share experiences and gain experiences, not only through workshops, through performances, and through exhibits. This is a place where you can disconnect from the outside world and reconnect into a community of people that there is no judgment. There's only support. And this place is an amazing place to grow and to tap into your highest potential and to be able to show off all your talents. This is a place you can come and network and really thrive. I'm so excited for Dreamweaver's Artist Ranch. This is a place where dreams actually come true. I love you all so very much. I'll talk to you all later. Peace.
Welcome back to Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. We're in conversation with Angelica Robles. We have been talking all about her book, Through These Brown Eyes. We've been talking about performance coaching. How long did it take you to write your book, Angelica? You said not long.
No, it actually took 3 weeks. And I always tell people I had never written a book. For the government, I write reports, which is pretty much what interrogation is. You interrogate and then you write a report, which you're really writing somebody else's story. So writing had always been very easy for me. It just came kind of naturally, just sharing my emotions. But what I really wanted to share with people was the reason why I wrote the book so quickly is because I had all this just pent up pain inside of me. And so when I started writing, I couldn't stop, because as I was writing the book, I was releasing all this pain and suffering that I had held inside of me. And so the more I wrote, the more I was releasing. So that's really why I wrote it in 3 weeks. I just needed all this just to come out of me, really.
So for anyone out there who wants to write a book and you're thinking it can't be done, it's going to take ages. I know with me, the projects have normally taken about a year. So that in itself, Angelica, is a huge achievement. So what motivated you to work with some of the, I don't like the word worst, but some of the most complicated criminals on the earth?
To be honest, thinking back, I felt as though I wanted to give back or I wanted to learn. But ultimately, when you boil everything down, I just wanted to know why. Why do these people do what they do? What motivates to do what they do? What in their mind causes them to do what they do? And really, what I found out, it all comes down to experiences and childhood experiences, which we all have
Yes.
childhood experiences that cause some type of trauma that then leads us to have a hindrance in our adulthood. So for them, it just happened to hit harder. And so that really was the idea of going into work for the government. And really the pain that I had inside me, I felt that I needed to make a difference, or really I felt that it was going to make a difference in my life in getting over my traumas.
And I've watched a lot of programs actually on like psychopathic mind. And what you're saying is true, because I've seen where they interview psychopaths, and it's normally something that started in their childhood where they haven't got enough love from their family and their parents. But there is some psychopaths that will go on to do really challenging jobs that are really great for psychopaths, but then other psychopaths go on to kill. But it does come down to their upbringing, but they are wired totally different to what normal people are wired. So what you're saying totally makes sense to me, Angelica, and I can imagine you have lots of scary stories and positions that you have been in. So your book made it to international bestseller through These Brown Eyes. So you're an international bestseller. What is next for Angelica Robles?
So really, I wanted to give back to really people, and I wanted to be of service to others. I really do believe that life's fulfillment is being of service to others. And so with me, I was really able to let go of my past and come on the other side of just being very resilient. And so besides the book being a bestseller, we are in talks of making the book into a film or a series on a streaming platform, whether it be, Netflix or Paramount. So that's what's in the works. But also just performance coaching. I recently launched my services as a performance coach because I really want to give to others and give to people the gift that I've gotten, which is really just being fulfilled and thriving and really being limitless, not having anything hindering your personal growth and your personal development as an individual, whether it be in relationships, fitness, wellness, business, all that kind of anything that comes under the sun.
Love it. Well, good luck on your journey to getting your book into a movie. I'll be asking for your autograph soon, Angelica. And let's just share a few tips, because a lot of people struggled over the last couple of years. We've been in a global pandemic. I said I started fitness. I really worked on my performance, but there may be people out there struggling. People have lost jobs. People have gone out of business, but there's been a lot of positives as well. People have set up new businesses, new projects. But for those out there who may be struggling to achieve high performance, give us 3 of your best tips to help support them to achieve better results.
So I'll start with this. Whenever we wake up in the morning and we have a thought, whether it be good or bad, I always tell people process that thought. there's nothing wrong with feeling down or feeling insecure. Process that thought, be with that thought. And then once you've processed that, everything comes to mindset. Really release that thought, because what happens is when we give legs or really give life to a specific thought, that's what we go with. So I would say it starts with mindset. Really get your mind right and start thinking positive, because if you're positive, then everything else will fall into place.
Yes.
That would be my first one. Second one would be get an accountability partner. Get somebody that you can share your goals with and surround yourself with the right people. Because if you surround yourself with the right people, they're going to catapult you and really pick you up and get you to where you want to be.
Yes.
And the third thing, these are all very simple things, is consistency. Stick to it. That's all we need to do, is stick to it, because those little steps then turn into big steps, then turn into milestones. So very simple things.
They're simple, but I use all of them. First thing on a morning, what you're putting in your mind is so important. It's good that you are starting the day with positive thoughts. That's a great tip. First thing on a morning, when you go to bed. Also, gratitude is really, really good, because that puts you in a really positive state. You also mentioned associations. People will either lift you up or they will drag you down. It's really important you choose your circle wisely. So I'm totally with you on that one as well. And just remind me what the third one was, because I'm talking once more.
Consistency.
You have to be consistent in whatever it is you're trying to achieve, be it wellness, be it fitness, be it business, a new project, personal life. You have to be consistency, because those consistent steps over time are what lead to success. Great tips, Angelica. Now, I know you are offering performance coaching, and people can sign up for performance coaching with Angelica. Connect with Angelica on Instagram at Angelica Robles 28. That's at Angelica Robles 28. At Angelica Robles 28. Reach out to her, slide into her DMs. I'm sure she'll answer any questions. She will have a conversation with you, and she can share more how she can support you with performance coaching. That's at Angelica Robles 28. Angelica, I thoroughly enjoyed having a conversation with you today. Thank you so much for being my guest.
Thank you, Mark. It was a privilege.
The privilege was all mine. Thank you, everyone, for watching Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. Today, we have been in conversation with Angelica Robles. We have talked all about her international bestseller. We have talked all about her performance coaching, high performance, and I will leave you with positive thoughts, associations, and consistency. Until next time, bye for now.